It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. We are live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you're welcome to give us a call and talk about what's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay is, I guess, running late, so he'll probably sneak in on us at some point or another. But, hey, what are you going to do? That sometimes life's like that.
Yes, weather is nice.
So, Angie, on this day of big news, right? Like we've got black holes appearing in the universe. We have alleged Chinese spies trying to sneak into the White House South and all this other stuff. What do you got for me?
Well, I'm going to talk about marijuana and how it has helped decrease use of alcohol, tobacco, and other prescription drugs.
Oh, well, excellent. I think that, just from a anecdotal, meaning, the people I've talked to and listened to in my life, I do believe that many of them have used marijuana to, transfer an addiction, maybe I don't know if addiction's the right word, but marijuana's enjoyable, right? It creates a euphoric experience, and that's better than sitting there suffering, going through withdrawals or DTs or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that can it can be positive. I want to get into that real quick, but we've got a call already. Let's go to Big Loaf, calling in from North Carolina. Big Loaf, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, ladies and gents. So, calling about a toot that I saw on Mastodon or the Fediverse, whatever you want to call it.
If you go to toot.freetalklive.com.
Yes, distinct from making a toot. I did that earlier.
Yes.
So I saw Ian's message about PewDiePie moving to DLive.tv. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, Ian sent me a telegram today, breathless, that this person, PewDiePie, whom I know very, very little about, but other than like he's YouTube's biggest star.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. Is he funny?
He is, absolutely.
Okay, great. I'm glad, because all I know about PewDiePie is he's kind of gangly, looks like the Spin Doctors, the singer, and he found a body in a park one time. That's it. I know nothing else.
Yeah, it's about as much as I know, right? But evidently it's a thing, and so. But in the message that Ian put out, and I guess Will Coley or whoever runs the Call to Freedom account on Liberdon, put out a similar message saying, we're now using or beta testing DLive.tv, which claims to be a decentralized video hosting platform. And ultimately, it's that decentralized thing I wanted to call about, just to let people know. All right. It is not decentralized.
All right.
The only way to use DLive.tv is to go to DLive.tv. Now, with that said, there are actual decentralized video hosting platforms, such as PeerTube, which uses Activity Publisher under the covers, just like Mastodon does for the Fediverse, right? And that really is decentralized, right? I've got a server. There's a PeerTube.social server run by the maintainer. Anybody and everybody can run a server. That's real decentralization. But DLive.tv is only DLive.tv. It's only that site. It's single point of failure.
What
not
are they
decentralized?
They're using the term decentralized. What do they mean when they say it?
Well, I would think they would mean not centralized.
Okay.
If they mean something else, then that's not the correct use of the term, right? Decentralized meaning not centralized, and there's a clear centralization on DLive.tv.
I get it. I mean, I see the point you're making. You don't know why they use the term decentralized to describe their platform.
It's not because it's decentralized, right? Because I actually looked into their source code.
It says it's crypto based. It says it's crypto based too. It says it's crypto based too.
Right, but then fine, right? But you've got to go to a central point to use it.
Okay.
I actually looked into running an instance, how I might do that, and there's no documentation for it or whatever.
Yep.
So if you can run your own, they're not saying how, right? And contrast this with, again, the other really decentralized projects. right? Like PeerTube, and there are other ones, right?
Libraries out there.
Yeah, exactly. But and I see this trend of people just seeing crypto and saying it's decentralized.
Yeah.
You'll hear a lot of people say the same things about Minds.com, but the same thing with them. The only way to use Minds.com is to go to Minds.com, right? You can't run your own. So I just wanted to let people know, don't believe the hype. Until you can actually run your own server, there are clear instructions. The only way to use it is to go to a central point, dlive.tv.
Well, thank you for the warning there, Big Loaf. And I will say that I did turn back to look at Ian, who happens to be in the studio at this point, has not left me to the Wolves quite yet. He has nodded and made that sort of affirmation crinkle with your lips. Oh, he's coming on the air. Look, I'm not paying you anything for tonight. You talk on the air, you're talking for free.
Drag him in.
Am I unmuted? Okay, great. So, yeah, I don't know enough about this, so I'm glad for the information, Big Loaf. According to their website, they are based on this thing called Lino. It's Lino, and the claim is that's the blockchain.
That's a libertarian in name only.
Yeah, so that's the claim, is that's like the blockchain that backs this. It's described as a decentralized autonomous content ecosystem. Now, what that means, I have no idea. I don't know, like you said, how you would run your own node on this system. It seems to be in like a testnet phase right now. So all I know is I saw that PewDiePie had signed up for it. I figured there's going to be a huge rush to this platform. So figured we ought to be there.
Yeah. I mean, that's aside from the point whether or not it's a good platform or the place to be.
Now, are you saying earlier you mentioned this PeerTube? Are you saying there's a streaming system that is actually decentralized that you know of? Because PeerTube doesn't appear to be live stream.
No, it definitely does not, right? And nothing does that I know of. So if there is an actual decentralized way to do that, that'd be really, really cool. But as far as like replacing the static video content capabilities of YouTube in a decentralized fashion, PeerTube definitely does that well. Like I said, I run my own instance. I can federate with everybody else in the Fediverse. Just like with Mastodon, I can actually follow my PeerTube account from my Mastodon account, right? So it's all the same protocol underneath, and anybody can run an instance. They're very clear instructions. Multiple people have different methods of deploying PeerTube and different configurations, right? So it's you don't have to go to peertube.com to use
Why would
PeerTube.
I want to? Just out of curiosity, Big Loaf.
Well, it sort of gives you a certain amount of censorship proofness, right? So if you run your own video content server, short of somebody shutting down your server, you can't be censored, right? And even then, you can make it really hard for people to find your server to shut it down. So, for example, you can run it exclusively on Tor or in Tor and on the plain net, right? You have options. So the advantage is, as Michael W. Dean would have said in the past, it makes your video drone-proof. And it uses BitTorrent under the covers, so it scales with viewership as well. And, again, with the federated aspect of it, that really means that, you've got a web server that's sharing video, but everybody else in that federated network can also pull your video and can mirror it. And so you get this network scale effect. But unfortunately,
well, I think it's wonderful that we have so many different decentralized options for video. I know that we've been using the library system, which is, I believe, lbry.io, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know how these things differ or if they're very, very similar or not. But I don't think we should get too technical here.
Oh, I think we've passed that. That ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean, it's
well, I don't think we should continue.
A quick litmus test. If you ever want to know if it's really decentralized, the question to ask is, can I run my own? If the answer is no, not decentralized.
Thanks for the call, Big Loaf. Looks like you gave Ian some stuff to. You've occupied his entire evening. So there you go. You can give us a call too. Anything you'd like. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. Or you can use our Discord line. It's not decentralized, but it is Discord. Discord.freetalklive.com. There's an app there. You download it, and then you can use it on your phone and call in. It's relatively easy. Discord.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And we were just talking about decentralized video platforms. Not that I know a lot about it, but apparently this big star, PewDiePie, which, Angie, you're familiar with.
I am.
Yeah. What would you say he does?
He's a gamer. So he plays games online. He's pretty charismatic, pretty funny.
Okay.
And
so he talks while doing games, right?
Yep, you can see his face, and he's pretty active.
Okay. And my son watches these. I'm baffled by the notion that anyone would sit around and watch anyone play video games. But I am not deluded enough to believe that I am somehow the arbiter of what is cool either. So, do what you want. But I guess so. That's mainly what he does is just plays
pretty much
some game, and so he makes or breaks video games then.
Pretty much, yeah. He reviews them. He talks about how good they are, the graphics, and if he's good at them, then people follow it.
I see. Does he play the same game over and over again, or does he just play it one at a time?
It's a variety of things.
Huh. Okay, well, and he just makes his living basically being like an interesting guy.
Yeah, he makes a very good living playing games.
Oh, yes, as I understand it, he does. Yeah. Well, good for him. God bless his soul. Let's go to the phones real quick. I do want to get to your story about marijuana and its relationship to addiction, and I think that's fascinating. Sarah, calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I'm convinced that the home burglars are the red light violators also. And then also my conclusion is that the speeders are also the auto thieves.
Okay, let's start with the first one. Home burglars are red light, like they run red lights?
Right, because when they do traffic stops, all the home burglars, the robberies, and then the thefts, the auto thefts, it goes down by 6%.
How much?
60%.
60%. All right, I have not heard this news, but okay. Why do you think that is? Do you think that burglars are somehow glued to the police band, listening for where the cops are or something, and just decide to take the days off on those days? I mean, there's no claim here that the burglars are somehow getting caught by these sting.
Well, okay, the thing is you're a lawbreaker. Okay, so you're on your way to rob a home. So you're going to speed, run 3 stop signs, and then run a red light. Why not? You're a lawbreaker.
No, the reason you wouldn't do that is because you want to rob a home, right? So especially if you have let's say, trunk full of people's valuables, or even a van full of people's valuables, the last thing you want to do is to run red lights or speed. I mean, that's unwise.
Yeah, but when you rob the home, you're going to speed away as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The best thing for you to do is go the speed limit. I mean, I've been in the car with people because everybody's breaking the law at some point or another. Not with burglars. I wouldn't put up with that, but certainly people breaking the law, and they're very fastidious about following the speed limit and traffic laws. I don't know if there's a relationship here. I'm curious.
Well, here's the thing. In Texas, the police department, they did a study.
Okay.
So the traffic violation only goes down by 5%. Okay, but the burglaries go down by like 50 to 60%.
Well, there you go. We need a police state with cops stopping cars all the time because it has positive results. You know who told me? The cops. What if the burglars put out a study that said that this is all bunk, and actually these things cause burglaries?
What did you say? What did you say? The burglars?
Well, yeah. What if the burglars put out a study that said the opposite? I mean, you shouldn't believe a study that's put out by the organization that benefits.
Well, no, but they don't do stuff like that. They're so busy. The burglars are busy concentrating on how to rob and steal.
I admit that is true. The burglars union is really it's pretty bad. Thanks for the call, Sarah. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Angie, tell me about the relationship between marijuana and addiction here.
Okay. Give me a minute.
I know
I just wondered how the study came upon. Like, did they catch these 60% of burglars and that's why they said that they ran those stoplights? Or did they just interview them and say, hey, do you run stoplights?
I think it was just that burglaries went down as a result, but I don't know what maybe the burglars are like, today's not a good day to burglarize because the cops are out and I just got stopped, so I think I'll go someplace else.
It's a good idea.
It's time I'm just going to go have a milkshake instead of burglarizing somebody's house, and they just do it the next day.
Yeah, and don't run the red lights.
Right. Don't run red lights when you're committing
home burglaries.
Awful things.
Yes, back to marijuana and how it has decreased the use of alcohol, tobacco, and other prescription drugs. A significant amount of data. I found this on thehill.com. It was published in February of this year. A significant amount of data has been generated in recent years showing that cannabis access is associated with reduced levels of opioid use and abuse. But emerging data also indicates that many patients similarly substitute marijuana for a variety of other substances, including alcohol, tobacco, and benzodiazepines.
Benzos. I've heard of benzos. I don't know what they do. Don't ask me, people.
I was getting ready to ask you exactly that.
Oh, no, I don't know. I have no idea. Bad thing. Things that unlikely are good for your brain.
Researchers in Canada and the U.S. surveyed over 2,000 federally registered medical cannabis patients in regard to their use of cannabis and other substances. Investigators reported that nearly 70% of respondents said that they substituted cannabis for prescription medications, primarily opioids. 45% of those surveyed acknowledged substituting cannabis for alcohol, and 31% of respondents said that they used marijuana in place of tobacco.
Well, so certainly I would say that marijuana is a better choice than opiates.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah, and, if you're substituting marijuana for alcohol, it's probably a good idea. In most cases, like I would guess that's the people that are doing it are probably alcohol abusers. Just a guess. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade.
It does say that. It says that among those who reported replacing alcohol with cannabis, 31% said they stopped using booze altogether. 37% reported reducing their intake by at least 75%. And 51% of those who reported substituting cannabis for tobacco said that they eventually ceased their tobacco use completely.
I can't imagine the tobacco one. I smoked for years, and when I smoked marijuana, in my younger years, when I smoked marijuana, I wanted to smoke tobacco more, not less. So I don't know how that could possibly figure, but it's not me. This is people reporting.
Well, I find that a lot of people who I know use tobacco, they do it out of habit. So they have to have something in their hand.
Yep.
So they could just have rolled marijuana. Exactly.
My God, you can't just wander around smoking pot. Oh my God. Stoned all the time. Your thoughts, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Talk Live. Come on and call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It is Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
Jay joining us now. Thank you, Jay. You're running man camp there.
That's what we were doing this afternoon. We had a 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 15-year-old, and a 25-year-old lady doing some ironworking. It was a good time.
Excellent. You're going to be running Man Camp at Forkfest too. One of those kids, by the way, was mine. So thanks for taking care of Jack there and teaching him a little bit. What'd you guys do at Man Camp?
Well, when Jack came up to me, he's like, "Whoa, this is so cool! There's a fire in there. Look at that!" He's like, "There's an anvil." And then he grabs a hammer and he goes, "I hear this sound in Minecraft. Tink, tink, tink." So yeah, he was a little excited when he showed up, and
forging.
We made the 15-year-old made a riveted coat hanger. We made rivets out of round stock and hot riveted it, and he forged all the hooks, and then we made a couple of hanging basket holders.
Yep.
And the kids forged them, and they twisted them, and they punched holes through. And they were, and the 8-year-old that was there, he came out and he goes, "How are we gonna bend steel?" He says. I go, "We're gonna get it hot." He goes,
"I know you can't use airplane fuel. I know that."
No, we use propane and oxygen.
Okay, good. So if you are interested in Man Camp, or really a whole bunch of other activities that are going to be going on at Forkfest 2019, please join us June 13th through the 18th for Forkfest at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest is just before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and you're invited to come and create whatever experience you'd like to have. It's decentralized. No one's in charge, and it's up to you to create what happens, or just relax and go camping like I'm going to do with other Liberty lovers. So I'll be running a radio show too, but that's plenty for me. Go to forkfest.party. That's the website, forkfest.party. And we've got an unofficial Telegram chat or the forum, and you can connect with other Forkfesters, forkfest.party. So Angie is reading an interesting article here about how apparently marijuana, this is anecdotal, but it seems to be helping people get off of opioids, alcohol, tobacco. These are some of the most addictive substances on the planet, and marijuana is helping with that. I realize these people are getting stoned in the process. I know they are getting stoned, but isn't it better to get stoned than to have a heroin habit?
Well, I completely agree. You're not going to run off the road into a tree stoned. You might go a little slow, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's probably best if you just don't consume mind-altering substances and get in a car. But the studies do show that people who've smoked a little marijuana are probably better off than people who've, shot a little heroin. Just a guess on my mind.
I haven't seen any passed out with their children in the backseat stoned.
Right. That's bad.
When I was out in Colorado, as many people know, I was out there for about 2 years, and I've been going out there most of my adult life for a month or so to work for my stepfather during harvest season. And there was this fella, this young guy, he was like 22. He was a part-time sheriff deputy, and he worked with us part-time. He was also a farm kid, and he was pretty much, he wasn't really against like the whole legalization of recreational cannabis. Definitely his union was, and he was basically directed to vote against it. And he said that a lot of the money in the union was, a lot of police union and law enforcement, types were very much against it. And we had a lot of conversations about this stuff, prior to and during and after, the whole like vote thing. And the last, he would work with us just in September, by the way, this guy. So, and I worked beside him for like a month straight. And he was like, we're just not finding that, like the heroin. We're not making the heroin bus that we were, previous to the legalization. And then the next year he had said, we're one of the lowest heroin use states now, he's saying. And he goes, I think it's because people are, just not getting into it because they have options. They're not being prescribed opiates when they can go to the store and just buy cannabis butter. and his brother started using cannabis butter, and he kind of came around.
Yeah, I see that that many people use different types of marijuana, marijuana in different forms to treat pain. Maybe that works. I don't know. I'm no doctor. What do I know? I can only presume that it does. And if it does, and it keeps them from using, I don't know, societally destroying things like heroin. I get it. In an optimal world, many people would believe that nobody uses a mind-altering substance ever, right? Now, some people in an optimal world would use a mind-altering substance all the time, but the goody goodies, right? The respectables out there, many of them would say, none of us should use any of it anytime. But you have to, even if you ascribe to that, you probably believe that some are better than others. And the best I can tell is that the human primate is going to use mind-altering substances.
I would say food and water are a mind-altering substance. Don't give anybody water for 3 days and see what happens.
Oh, they go bananas.
Right.
Sleep.
And then they get the water, and then they're good. Just people get, if you don't eat for 18 or 20 hours, some people get cranky. Some people get sleepy. And then when they eat, they're in a different mindset. So it's everywhere.
I suppose. I mean, I can see why. I can see your point, and I can see how other people say otherwise. But to me, when we look at marijuana, maybe smoking it isn't the best idea, but there's lots and lots of different ways to take this mind-altering substance now. And sometimes we can, take some of that away. You can breed it out. You can get some of the other health benefits. I don't know. All I'm going to say is that I'm willing to listen at this point on the medical value of marijuana.
Well, the article continues. It says that this study is not the first of its kind, and it's not unique. A 2017 study of medical cannabis patients similarly reported that 25% of the cohort reported substituting cannabis for alcohol, while 12% substituted it for tobacco. A 2015 paper published in the journal Drug and Alcohol Review also reported that over half of patients surveyed substituted marijuana in lieu of alcohol. A placebo-controlled clinical trial performed by researchers at London's University College.
Before you go on, so I can only imagine. So alcohol has been rated as one of the most destructive drugs to society, and it's probably its pervasiveness. It's not like you take one, you drink one cocktail and suddenly your life falls apart. Nobody's going to claim that. But then again, if you smoke one joint, your life's not going to fall apart, and nobody's going to claim that. And maybe if you shoot heroin up one time, your life will fall apart. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to, comment on that.
They say if you try it, you're hooked.
I have heard those sorts of things. I took a prescribed opiate one time. It wasn't prescribed to me, actually. That's inaccurate. I took a pharmaceutical opiate one time from a friend as I was going to the hospital for an injury. And suddenly, like the injury, it was pain, right? It was the pain that was driving me to the hospital, not there was no bleeding out or anything. Suddenly taking that, I'm like, I think I'll be fine. Let's go home. Let me tell you about my childhood, right? It changed everything. So as a painkiller, it worked. But I realized in that moment, I am never going to take this. That was the most painful experience of my life when my eardrum ruptured from diving. And I'm only going to take this when my pain threshold reaches 9 or 10. That's the only time I'm going to take these things, because if I take them otherwise, it's going to be bad news for Mark. So what are your thoughts on people using marijuana to, stop using bad stuff?
Deal with chronic pain.
Yeah. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind here on this live edition of Free Talk Live with Mark,
Jay,
Angie here.
855-450-3733. We're talking about an article that you found that apparently people are with a great deal of success. At least they're promoting statistics here, with a great deal of success using marijuana to kick habits like heroin, tobacco, alcohol, and as far as I'm concerned, if you're kicking bad habits like that, how you do it, not that big of a concern to me.
Well, the article talks about studies and it indicates that legal cannabis access is associated with reductions in overall prescription drug spending. While much of this reduction is the result of reduced use of opioids, studies also report decreases in patients' consumptions of other prescription drugs such as sleep aids, antidepressants, and anti-anxiety medications.
Yeah, for those out there that don't think marijuana should be legal, if people are using marijuana instead of using opioids, oxycodone and fentanyl and whatever, I don't know what all these things are. I'm not a doctor, but those things are pretty dangerous. Don't we want people using a substance that there are no reported deaths from overdoses of marijuana? Not one. Do some people smoke too much marijuana and just whittle their lives away or whatever? I guess I hear that. I don't know. I certainly met in my 20s lots of losers that smoked marijuana, but I met a lot of losers. And some of them didn't smoke marijuana, right? So, it could just be being a young male in your early 20s that's the issue. Or it could be associated, right? Maybe losers smoke marijuana. I don't know. But I think that when we're talking about pain treatment and stuff like that, it took a long time for Florida to pass medical marijuana. They just kept on fighting it. All the old people there are like, take opioids.
And a pharmaceutical. Cannabis, people being able to grow cannabis in their own yard is literally going to put a huge, huge damper on the pharmaceutical industry. They are going to lose. The opiates make, tons of money. And it's just such a surplus of heroin now because you have the U.S. government over there making sure it's cultivated. They're making sure it's growing and they're helping harvest it and they're shipping it directly into this country and into Europe. That's why street heroin is cheaper than weed in a lot of places, especially where cannabis is illegal. Like here in New Hampshire, there's like a big heroin problem going on, and it's literally because I believe it's because, first off, the heroin's illegal, and second off, because cannabis is illegal. I know a construction worker who, local guy in Manchester, who literally got hooked on heroin because he failed a whiz quiz while working construction. They got a DOT check, and they were told to pee in a cup, and THC showed up in his urine, and they pulled his CDL for a certain amount or his health card or something, and he had a banged up shoulder, and they're basically like, well, if you can pass the test again and, you
get your CDL back.
You get your CDL back. Right. So he started taking Vicodins, is what he told me. And then now he's a full-blown, dude injecting poison into his arm. Because the problem is the Vicodin just numbs the pain, and the opiates numb the pain, and then they need more.
Well, let me ask you this. There are certainly states where marijuana is legal, and what about the people with CDLs there? Don't they test them the same way?
So I definitely knew some CDL truck drivers in Colorado that were cannabis users.
Okay.
And the thing is they were pretty good about either avoiding it, and this just happened because it was the
random drug test.
It was a they were going down the road, and there was a DOT scale, and they pulled open, and they just happened to be like, yep, you guys are peeing in a cup.
Wow.
Because they can do that.
Yeah.
And so and I know plenty of guys with CDL who use cannabis, and they're just, careful about peeing in a cup.
Hoping that doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, what can I tell you?
And I know there is talk in Colorado about, on a state level, like Home Depot just couldn't hire anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's going to drive the forklift at Home Depot?
Well, just even to run a cash register or to stand there and point to somebody where the half-inch pipe fittings are. They want everyone to pass that, and they had must be able to pass a urine test. It would say like right at the help wanted, and they're offering like $17 an hour. And I believe I might have heard it right here on this show actually, but somewhere there was a report where like Home Depot's like changed their stuff because they just couldn't get anybody to work, like in literally around Denver, Colorado.
I remember working at the radio. I worked at a few radio stations, but one of the radio stations I worked at the time, the joke was if they did a urinalysis on everybody here, we'd have to fire 75% of the staff. And I'm like, not me. But, what are you going to do? One guy.
When I lived in Western Mass for pretty much since I was a teenager right up until, 2 years ago when I was living there, 3 years ago, there's a local construction company, and they would literally call me, hey, can you and your brothers, pee in some cups for us? We need them tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we need some urine.
Yep.
Yeah. I had a friend who would come and get my urine sometimes to avoid the tests. I'm sure, man, whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted him, his life to be better, and so, he was at drug court and having to deal with that stuff.
The article continues and says a 2019 study by a team of Canadian researchers reported that the use of marijuana is associated with the discontinuation of benzodiazepines. In their study, 146 subjects, the initiation of medical cannabis resulted in significant and sustained reductions in patient use of drugs.
So benzos, as they're known, I guess, because nobody wants to.
Do you know what they are?
I don't really know what a benzo is. No, actually.
I just heard the word.
I don't.
I know it's a drug that people use, and I don't really know anything beyond that.
I'll have to Google that, unless you want to tell me.
No, we were talking about it earlier. I don't know. I do know that for chronic pain, you can use CBD oil, and I know people who have used it successfully instead of taking the Vicodins or the oxycodons or whatever they're called.
Well, our body has, tremendous amount of CBD receptors. Mm-hmm. I have a friend in Colorado, and his if I can plug his website, he's got a nonprofit. It's called Farms Not Farms. So it's FARMS, not PHARMS.
Gotcha.
Farms Not Pharmaceuticals, and it's Guerrilla Healers might be his part of the website too. But this guy extracted hemp for CBD, and I worked with another guy who was he gets the seizures. I forget what that's called. Slipping my mind. But anyways, this dude on CBD was really, really good, and he's but he would have these seizures while he sleeps, mm-hmm. and he would have headaches the next day and be miserable and cranky. And when he was on a CBD oil, he's like, I didn't have any seizures last night, and he knew he didn't have any because he didn't wake up with a headache, and he was on heavy duty meds. And but yeah, they anti-rejection for organs. I know a lady out there who had a kidney done, and she got off the anti-rejection meds, and their doctor's like, you're going to die if you take CBD and don't take the meds, and they would fill her with all kinds of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Sure.
And it's just, and the thing is, with cannabis, with the CBD, is our bodies have so much inflammation and are designed to receive CBD. If you look at when you see cannabis was basically made illegal by Rockefellers and J.P. Morgan.
Hearst was highly involved because he had a bunch of pine forests.
Right.
Didn't like the idea of people making paper out of hemp plants.
Dow Chemical. Henry Ford actually did a deal with Rudolph Diesel specifically to run diesel engines into Ford cars after they made alcohol illegal, because Henry Ford's cars were designed to run on alcohol. Yep. Alcohol is a great fuel.
It sure is.
Hemp is a great fuel. And Henry Ford do that. And Henry Ford was really against these. Basically, J.P. Morgan had heavily invested in all this stuff and didn't want his investments being basically destroyed by the hemp industry.
Right. And, this is what rich people often do, is use their money, power, and influence to get what they want. And that's what happened, and we're still living with the ramifications today. Now, rent-seeking has sprung up around it, rent-seeking being people that wish to profit off of a manipulation of the marketplace. So marijuana being made illegal is a manipulation of the marketplace.
Right.
Rent-seekers that profit off of this are... Well, I don't know, illegal drug purveyors and cops.
Lawyers, the criminal industrialists, the prison industrial complex.
Yep. By the way, benzodiazepine, some of the brands are Xanax Ativan, and Valium. So I've heard of those, and I guess they're sedatives intended to treat anxiety and that sort of thing.
Perfect.
There you go. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You're free to call in and talk live here on the air. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And I found a story today that, I know nothing of this stuff, but it was from theblaze.com. I think I found it on Facebook. Somebody had posted this. And I'm not – let me read it to you before I start commenting at all. Instagram star – quotation marks, sobs in viral video at idea of having to get a real job after her account was deleted. I'm not work material, in quotation marks. Video of a 21-year-old social media influencer crying hysterically about not wanting to enter the workforce is going viral on the internet. In the video, Jessie Taylor of Tampa, Florida, yells at, cries to, and warns her followers against reporting her account. Taylor says her previous account, which had over 100,000 followers, was deleted after people allegedly reported the account for being spam. In the video, which she shared on YouTube, Taylor, who now apparently lives in Los Angeles, just to be an Instagram star. Does anybody have any idea why living in Los Angeles is beneficial to being a star on Instagram?
No idea.
I have heard of people living in Los Angeles for the purpose of sort of being around other streamers. These are people that make money streaming video of themselves, and I guess Instagram is just pictures generally. But whatever. Maybe there's something going on in LA I don't know about. Whatever it is, I know it involves traffic, and I'm not interested. Los Angeles is fine to visit. I don't want to live there. I remember going through one time and seeing like rats scurrying across the street between trash cans. So no thanks. Not dealing with this. Then again, I've lived on a pig farm and there were rats there too. So whatever. So she can be seen openly sobbing at the prospect of having to perform like a normal adult in the real workforce. She adds that her biggest fear is that she'll end up a drug-addicted prostitute living on the streets if she can't be an internet star. I'm nothing without my following, she cries. I'm nothing without my following. Taylor, who apparently went to college and previously worked at McDonald's, says that, by the way, I worked at Burger King. Nothing wrong with that. She's 21. It's not like she's had a lot of time to build a career. The fact that she's got 100,000 followers on Instagram, I imagine, is probably a pretty good thing. I don't know how you turn that into money, but whatever. She says she's in debt and has no skills. I want to say to everybody that's been reporting me, think twice, because you're ruining my life. Because I make all of my money online, all of it. I don't want to lose that, she wept. The people who work 9 to 5, that's not me. I'm in LA to not be like that, she insisted. Taylor, who admitted to being a former sex worker, said that she simply couldn't go back to that life. I was an effing prostitute. I used to strip every single day. I don't even do that. I don't do that S anymore because I make all my money online. I don't want to go back to that life.
So what she's probably doing on Instagram is like, showing, her boobs and, naked pics, and there's
something close to naked pics.
And
what we used to call cheesecake.
Can you show
shots.
naked pics on there?
Just definitely, I do know a couple of girls that like they are making a living, literally sending nudes to
right,
dudes.
so what
they
they're
have
doing,
like subscriptions
they're using their Instagram to advertise their wares. And then the wares themselves are the actual pictures of areolas and vulvas, right? Whereas you can't show those things online.
So basically what they do is so someone will pay a subscription like $40 a month, and they'll get like a boob shot texted to them every day. Or there's like premium packages where they'll get a boob and a vag shot every day, and whatever.
She'll send you a text saying nice things to you or whatever, right? And
it's mostly Asian guys.
Bucks? Like, who would get the $40? Does Instagram get a part, or does she get all of it?
So I've been you guys should be accepting cryptocurrency. It's because one of the girls I know, literally her PayPal, she started doing it. She's an attractive young lady, and her PayPal gets like $5,000 all of a sudden in 1 month. So PayPal just shuts her off. Why are you getting all this money? What are you doing? Explain yourself. And I'm like, see, you need to accept Bitcoin.
There you go.
And I'm not 100% sure if that particular girl's still doing it, but there's definitely a couple other girls that I know that are. One girl's actually like 43, and she's doing it.
This is basically what I'm trying to say here is that I don't. Blaze is putting this up because they're sort of trying to shame this lady for not wanting to work like the rest of us. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. However you make your money is how you make your money.
She knows how the candle makers felt when the electric light bulb became popular. I mean, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately her problem is that she's relying on platforms like Instagram, YouTube, or whatever to make her money, and she we as a society consume these platforms that are very centralized and can shut you off in an instant.
Yep.
That's the big problem here is that with Free Talk Live, for instance, we're pretty decentralized, but there are some radio stations, if they cut us off, that'd be bad. We wouldn't be very happy about that. We've lost some big stations in the past. No big deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but no earth-shattering consequence to us. There's, YouTube could cut us off, which wouldn't be terrible or anything. We don't get a lot of views on our YouTube channel. The reason being is it's just a live feed that you can see at Twitch, youtube.freetalklive.com, but you can see the same thing in better quality at twitch.freetalklive.com. Twitch could cut us off too if they wanted to. And the problem is that we on the internet accept these very centralized companies, and it's just okay. And this is what she's doing. She's feeling the heat here. She probably doesn't understand that's the problem. She's trying to get people to not report her account as spam. My guess is she's one of these that if on Facebook they'll find you and say they'll find the men and say, hey, you want to see pictures my pictures online? Yeah. Go to this link, and then I guess I've never clicked the link that I can think of.
That's actually one of the reasons when I got a new phone a couple of years ago, I never put Instagram back on it, because I started getting these hey cutie, checked out some of your pictures.
No, you didn't. I'm
like, hey, I'm looking to flirt, some cute girl and all this stuff. And so, but at 21 years old is a really good opportune time for a career change.
Agreed.
It's not like you're 50 years old and and your retirement's all wrapped up in General Motors or something and they go bankrupt. That's when you're in trouble. And your retirement gets all sucked up and you got nothing. And you've been living beyond your means your whole life.
I would recommend that she have a fallback career. That's for certain, and that
everybody should.
Let's get that debt paid off, young lady.
How much debt can she be in at 21 years old?
It's stupid.
I presume that she's probably better off than most people who've signed student aid forms. But basically, if you go to college, you could be at 21. You could be many tens of thousands of dollars in debt at this point.
Does it say what her degree is in, or did she graduate?
No. I think her degree is in hooking.
So there's her fallback.
Yes.
In 2004.
She doesn't want to do that.
So I was about 24 years old. I remember my friend was definitely 24. We went to high school together. And he had $75,000 in debt, not including his student loans. But he had bought a brand new car when he was 18. And then he had bought another brand new car 2 years later. He had every stupid, ridiculous electric gizmo toy thing, iPad, MacBook, whatever, a credit card, compounding interest. He's living with his mom.
Yeah, well,
and 70. I was crazy. And he's coming with me to throw hay because his college degree wasn't worth anything to do whatever he went to school for.
What was his degree in?
I think it was in communications. He does have a radio gig now, though.
Okay. Well,
yeah, he went to
as
school
a radio guy, I recommend against those communications degrees, honestly. 855-450-3733. Everybody gets those things. The expectation they're going to be a TV newscaster. 855-450-FREE on Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. The number is 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
Want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, the Edge wallet. Yeah, well, they didn't exactly name it after me, but the designer, Paul Pui, did tell me about it before it was even premiered. I knew the Edge wallet was coming before the Edge wallet existed. It's a fun name. People like it. One of the reasons I picked it. But the Edge wallet's available on iOS and Android. You can, right in the Edge wallet, you can use it to buy, sell, and trade, and securely hold numerous cryptocurrencies. Ones you wouldn't expect. Ones like Monero and Ripple, Stellar, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, all the ERC20, not all the ERC20 tokens, lots of ERC20 tokens. I mean, when I say numerous, I can't go through and explain how many different tokens you can put on the Edge wallet. The Edge wallet is designed by a veteran team. They've been building cryptocurrency software, wallets specifically, since 2014. And you can go get it, like I have. I enjoy the Edge wallet and think it's been working pretty well for me. Edge.app. It's edge.app, as in application. That's what that's short for. So you can go and secure your freedom with edge.app. What I love about the Edge wallet is that not only can you pretty much do everything you need to do, buy, sell, trade, hold your cryptocurrencies, pretty much any of them in the Edge wallet app, but instead of having to write down this mnemonic, is what they call it, a bunch of words that secure your tokens, you do it with a username and password. They make it much easier, and you control your own currency. This is not, it's not held on their servers or anything like that. This is your stuff, and you can choose not to even back up your password with them, and then you're completely secure. You don't have to worry about anybody's servers. But I didn't do that. I chose not to do that. I'm like, yeah, fine, I'll take that. But you have to write down 24 words, and it makes it a lot easier. Just a username and password, and that's awesome. And you've got your own coins. So edge.app, please go and download that now. You get to secure your freedom and, start in the exciting world of cryptocurrencies. Let's go to Bobby calling in on the Discord line. Bobby, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Bobby, can you hear me now? Well, got some kind of audio issue going on there on the Discord line. Let's go to Matthew calling in from Louisiana on the regular lines. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Actually, the question is Saturday. Was the sovereignty of the United States established? I'd say it is when we signed the treaty with Great Britain ending the War of Independence.
So when was the sovereignty of the United States established was the question? Okay.
Right. That was the question I believe Ian asked. Now, the thing about the marijuana is everybody in my family wants marijuana to become legal, either recreationally or medically, because they basically all have a lot of chronic pain.
Okay.
The thing that concerns me,
yep, sure,
is isn't marijuana an appetite stimulant?
I don't know about that, but I wouldn't Yeah, I mean, that's what it's known for.
Specific strands actually can either stimulate or suppress appetite, from what I understand. And that's the thing is, the whole cannabis, world has been so taboo for a long time, and there's such little, exploration that's really been done on it by actual labs and whatnot, and even the government, when they did their studies on it, they didn't even want to publish it. They wanted to keep it hush hush because they found all the benefits of it. But in Colorado, you can walk in some in some cannabis retail establishments, and you can literally be like, I need to increase my appetite, or I want to decrease my appetite, or I have a shoulder pain, or I have anxiety, or I have this, and they will literally guide you to certain strands that have claims, and then you try it out and you see.
Okay, well that is good to know, because part of the challenge is that they you were talking about it being food being a mind altering substance. Well, many members of my family are evidence of that.
Well, I will point this out, Matthew. Alcohol consumption also increases sort of bad nutritional choices, too. People tend to get hungrier when they drink and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that – look, I'm not here saying that marijuana's delightful in all ways or anything like that. I'm simply saying that compared to what we got, it seems like a better choice.
Well, everything has side effects, including flying.
Flying? The side effects of flying are getting where you want to be and what?
Well, there is a risk, Sometimes
there's a risk.
The flight ends abruptly.
Sometimes it does. Every landing's a crash. It just depends on, how controlled it is.
How fast and how far. Ciao.
Thanks for the call, Matthew. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Let's go back to the Discord lines and see if we can get Bobby on here. I think we've tried something else out. Bobby, you're on the Free Talk Live.
Yes, sir. Okay, guys, thanks. Now, let's get to it. What I was wanting to say is, in Florida, you've heard of Morgan & Morgan because you used to live around here in Florida.
Yeah, Morgan & Morgan is a really big lawyer in operation down in liars, as we call them down in Florida. Down in
They're
Florida.
Liars everywhere, but around the whole globe.
Actually, I like. I can't remember his first. John Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that guy. Really, I think he's done some great work. But he used to have a law firm back in the '80s when I was a kid, and the ads were on so much that I can remember them from when I would never have ever called a lawyer's office, but I remember Morgan calling in Gilbert because for the people, right? Like he still has the same line.
For the people.
Yeah.
Morgan & Morgan.
Right.
For the people. Anyways, he spent $10 million on getting marijuana legalization. He was the one who actually helped push and get the medical marijuana. But now I make you a bet. I don't know. Now, this is just hyperbole. Maybe he, had some medical marijuana, companies that he could probably make money off of. I'm sure he wouldn't have spent $10 million, like you said in the commercial, just to help, sick people, feel better.
Yeah, I don't know what his motivation was, but I mean, I can tell you that there were plenty of organizations that spent money to keep it illegal for their purposes, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's a great business for lawyers when it's illegal to do something.
Well, he actually, he's what's known in the industry as an ambulance chaser. He's looking for slip and falls, accidents, those kind of things. But, he's got a lot of sway, and he's got a system, and it works.
Jay, how is the fishing in New Hampshire? I'm here in Florida, and, that's the only thing I think I would miss.
Freshwater or salt?
I think both.
Okay, well,
I'll go.
I actually haven't done any fishing, but I hear there's some really good charters that go out of Portsmouth, and guys have a great time doing that on the ocean.
People at my lake are fishing.
There?
Yep, there's plenty of lakes. There's the people on my lake are fishing all the time. Thanks for the call, Bobby. Appreciate it. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever you want. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Do you have a retail establishment? Would you like to accept cryptocurrency? Would you like to be added to a map of businesses that accept cryptocurrency so that people who want to spend cryptocurrency will be able to come find you and spend money with you that probably wouldn't otherwise do that? Well, the best thing for you to do is first off, the map's at map.anypay.global, but go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's helpmetakebitcoin.com. There you'll see the easy setup. Really, it all comes down to setting up your wallet, which you can use any wallet. I recommend Edge Wallet, edge.app. But you set up a wallet, and then after that, the setup is extraordinarily easy. But helpmetakebitcoin.com has everything explained and as easy as you can. You're going to have it more or less. The most difficult part is having a tablet or integrating into your point-of-sale software right there at the register. Anypay.global is the website, and they've got Bitcoin, Dash, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, lots of options there for you. Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
You will get new customers, brand new customers you never had before if you accept Bitcoin. All the places that I've helped set up with Bitcoin between Denver and here, and even some remotely that I've just because I talk about it all the time, they get new faces into their establishments. And one of the things I do, I always go look on either any coin map or whatever. There's a whole bunch of different websites or somebody's Bitcoin wallets. They'll have an actual where can I spend Bitcoin, locator in them, and those are always usually my first choices anytime I go to somewhere new when I'm on the road or wherever. If I can use Bitcoin, I do.
And customers that use cryptocurrency are also more likely to repeat because there's not that many places in town where they can use crypto.
Yep.
So they tend to stick around.
No, they don't have. The business doesn't have to be in New Hampshire, right? It can be anywhere, any state.
That's right. Anypay.global. So
perfect.
Any place. I presume it has to be in English, but maybe they can, figure it out from there.
I have a friend who has a pizza joint in Vermont who is asking about it, so I'll definitely point her that direction.
Helpmetakebitcoin.com ought to help her out. So going on with this article from theblaze.com where they're shaming this poor lady who apparently makes some kind of living on Instagram. I don't know what kind of living she makes, but going on, she pleads in her video for people to stop reporting her account for spam. Now, I don't know what she's doing that's getting her reported for spam. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying that you probably should back up your accounts with more decentralized options because basically these big platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, these kind of things, if you build a living on these and they decide for whatever reason you got to go, there's not much you can do.
And they should probably get, use some AnyPay or understand. You go to bitcoin.com and learn about cryptocurrency. Any of these people who are doing these, making their money on it, because what happens is PayPal's shutting them down.
Right. As soon as PayPal shuts you down,
all the others.
Right.
So got to have a backup for everything.
Right. PewDiePie, the biggest producer apparently on YouTube, or at least somebody said that's what he was. I don't know. Biggest influencer there. He's now moved over to DLive.com where Free Talk Live just opened an account. So I suspect you can figure that out at dlive.freetalklive.com. That's dlive.freetalklive.com. I'm getting a nod from Ian. He's not freaking out, so I guess I'm right.
So is there a way to see how many like the PewDiePie is how you say it, with a P.
That's right.
So he's got hundreds of thousands of
probably millions.
Followers.
Probably millions.
So I wonder how many of them actually moved over to the new platform there, DLive, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I would imagine quite a few did in the first day. Put out a video on YouTube saying, I'm out of here. and
cool.
So that's a pretty big deal. And then, but probably more people will find it. And over the course of the next few days, a lot of people migrate over. And a lot of them won't. A lot of people are just like the platform. It continues. It's a good platform. It continues to feed you content as you go, and it's somewhat mildly related to the last thing you watched. And you start out watching something on the War of 1812, and pretty soon you've figured out how to dress your chicken up for the prom. I mean, God knows how it happens, but it does. So here you go. She says, "I'm not work material. I'll never be work material. Stop effing reporting me on me mother effing Instagram," she warned on mother effing Instagram. I love how theblaze.com goes and bleeps out the F word here. I mean, it's the internet, Blaze. You can write whatever you want, and everybody knows what you're saying anyway. It's not like you're softening it for the old Republicans who are going to read this. I have to do it on the radio, but I've heard this word that begins with an F before. I think I know what she's talking about when she calls somebody a mother effer. The last thing I want is to be a homeless prostitute on the effing street doing meth. How are you going to get to doing meth? All right, that's the last thing I effing want. So do stop effing trying to ruin my life. According to the Daily Mail, Taylor's other accounts, Twitter, Facebook, have between 3,000 and 4,000 followers apiece. Facebook, 3,000? Jeez, I think we got 88,000 on Free Talk Live. And, well, nobody ever wants to see me with my pants off anyway, so I guess it's not a thing. You have to convince Mrs. Edgington, for God's sake. So, anyway, gentlemen, if you want a little advice in that arena, wash dishes. That's the best advice I can give you.
I installed a dishwasher. My wife cut her thumb the other day, and she's like, "You got to do the dishes." And I bought a little dishwasher, and I had it sitting there, and just I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend 20 minutes doing dishes, or I'm going to spend 2 hours installing a dishwasher. I spent like 8 hours installing a dishwasher.
Oh, God.
But I got it done. I got a goofy house, so nothing fits right in it.
And so you still had to wash the dishes?
Well, no, I got the dishwasher installed, then loaded it up, and found a little water leak and pulled it back out. Took all the dishes out, pulled it back out, fixed the leak.
As one has to.
And it's all good now, though.
There you go. I feel bad for this lady in the sense that she probably doesn't. We just don't live in a world where there's decentralized options for her. She is, stuck in a world where if she wants to do this, which I presume is taken scantily clad pictures for, lonely men on the internet, it's a fine job if you can get the work, get the work.
Just like I said, when I get solicited on my Facebook from some girl who's like, got a couple of cute pics and is like, sends me
you presume it's a girl.
Message. I presume it's a bot. And I report it as spam because it's annoying.
Yeah. I presume all of that too, and I don't know if she was doing that and trying to find new people and that kind of thing, if that was her marketing gimmick, in which case it's I feel less bad for her because, well, she's in an arena full of people who are doing the same thing. I presume whenever I get a message on Facebook, Angie, what's it like for you? You're on Facebook. Who's sending you messages that you don't want?
Oh, a lot. I have friend requests, probably 20 or 30 a day from random men.
Random men.
And I will go, and if I have common friends, I'll check them out. And a lot of people send me messages saying, "Hi, cutie. Hi, sexy." I mean, just tons of crap.
Right.
And you look at it, delete it, and block them.
I presume in your case that that you're a very attractive woman. I presume in your case that these are like some of them are legitimate men.
Oh, I'm sure their accounts look real. They don't look like they're fake people. Now I do get the occasion, the Chinese lady who says, "Hey, cutie, come check me out." And there's like 2 pictures and like 2 friends. And
yeah, I get probably 3 of those a day.
Yeah, those are very rare for me.
Yeah, there you go. That's the difference between being checking male and checking female on the internet.
I also spam when it's like New Hampshire Department of Corrections is looking to hire prison guards. I click spam on that one too because
855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free. Free Talk Live. Call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Yay.
And Angie here.
Let's just go straight to the phones, guys. We got Free Market Penguin on the line, on the Discord line. Free Market Penguin, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, yo. I wanted to call. First of all, you were talking about the Instagram influencer. And, there's all kinds of ways you can make money doing that besides, getting, lonely guys to send you some money. So,
can you tell me all about the ways that people make money on Instagram? Because I presume...
Well, I've never, ever been on Instagram, or had an account or anything like that. But, people become influencers. So once you have a certain number of followers, companies will sponsor you to feature their products. And that's how, new companies and established companies kind of get their name out there and their new products out there, because you become influential in popular culture and consumer culture. So,
well, I can tell you this: there was one article about, I think it was a Filipino. What is it? It's some kind of resort that's like, hey, all you influencers, stop contacting us about free rooms or something. They're like,
Yeah. So a restaurant will open in LA. This is why she moved to LA. It's a restaurant will open in LA and they'll give free meals to these people because they're going to document it and put it on Instagram. And then all of a sudden, people are going to, it's an aspirational thing. People are just going to show up.
So I
want a packed house.
As a podcaster with more than 100,000 downloads per month, I can say that yes, you certainly can influence people. I think that a younger audience is easier to influence than an older audience. And Free Talk Live, we probably don't specialize in the youngest of audiences out there. Just a guess, but yeah. By the way, just in case you ladies feel oppressed, it's 70% of household discretionary income, more than 70% is spent by the women. So marketers want women. They don't want men. Men might make decisions like cars, houses, things like that, but ladies make decisions for pretty much everything else.
Oh man, you need to get that Audi sponsorship.
What is that?
The Audi.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen for us. I think we But Free Talk Live, what's the libertarian vehicle? A 78 Bronco? Not sure. Exactly.
But yeah, I wanted to call about. Basically pointing out, there's this kind of connection between libertarianism, like right-wing libertarianism as presented, in most libertarian media and like this show, for example, and unfortunately, elements of the alt-right, the far right. And that's an old topic. I know that. But even looking at this, in most libertarian media, there's a significant overlap between those. And these alt-right, far-right people do feel safe in libertarian spaces. And I totally understand why with the free speech ethic that is the case. Even yesterday when I called in, I was on hold, and when a guy who's an unironic caller with the nickname "Subscribe to PewDiePie" called in. The last words of the New Zealand shooter before he killed 50 of my fellow Muslims. So it's unfortunate that these alt-right and fascist elements find comfort in libertarian spaces. It's not really a criticism, because I understand why that is. But
I've heard this, and what my thoughts on that is. So I think libertarianism needs to take some level of responsibility for its, for whatever reason, a certain amount of these people sort of show up. However, in that same breath, Democrats never want to take any effing responsibility for what the crap they did for 100 frickin' years. I'm talking about enslaving people based on their color. I'm talking about lynching people based on their color. I'm talking about putting up statues to the people who enslaved and lynched people. Democrats they want to point the finger, and they don't ever want to take any responsibility. Republicans, they want to point the finger too. Well, I'm just a guess here. When you're talking about the outright racists in America, what party, between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, who do you think they voted for? I'm just asking you. If you when you think of a stereotypical racist in America, do you think they voted for Donald Trump or for Hillary Clinton? And I think the Republicans need to take a little responsibility for that. But while these two major parties and these philosophies that kind of hang along the sides of them refuse to take responsibility for their racist past, I'm supposed to sit here in libertarianism and say, yeah, there's an alt-right element, and they like the freedom of speech aspect of libertarianism. Well, I guess what I would say to that is, well, what are you scared of freedom of speech for? So I'm not yelling at you, free market.
No, I know, yeah.
I'm yelling at the people that are calling libertarians, attempting to paint us with a bigoted brush when they won't themselves take any responsibilities.
Well, that's like what the left essentially does when they have nothing else they can throw at you.
The right's done it to us too, but yeah.
That's what they do. The racism card is like rarely ever challenged in politics. Is usually people just walk away instead of, dealing with it.
The reason they do it is that they want to catch you making a soundbite statement that they can then use over and over and over again to smear you. So I had a guy call in just a few days ago. He said something about, socialism's great and you need to get a college degree and go into massive debt because of, I don't know, something. And he also said, it was talking about American Indians and some of the problems that they were having. And I mentioned that there's genetic issues too around alcohol and sugar assimilation. And the guy's like, well, you're a racist. Basically intimated that I'm a racist. And that's what, he didn't want to have a real conversation about some of the ways that one can pull themselves out of poverty. He wanted to have a conversation about how he can destroy whom he considers to be a political enemy. And, all right.
He was a straight up just, socialist that, didn't really have anything solid to say, because I was here that night when he called
in. That was exactly a week ago. So you can go find that at archives.freetalklive.com. That would be, I guess, the fourth April 3rd show, if you want to find it. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, I remember that caller.
Yeah.
I mean, his heart was in the right place. I get where I agree with him on a lot of the problems. I mean,
sure, I agree with liberals on the problems too.
Some of us believe that the free market, does provide these solutions, even when we don't mean the Republicans' "quote unquote" free market,
right,
or any other statist free market. We mean the free market. I mean, there are free market solutions to the. I really agree with a lot of the Democrats' problems, and so especially the more left-leaning Democrats' problems. But they go off the rails saying they want the state to essentially plan the solution. That's honestly ridiculous.
So, Free Market Penguin, one thing came to mind while you were talking here is I remember the Democratic National Convention, I think it was from 2012, where they made a vote, it was brought to the floor, something to do with Israel being the capital, or excuse me, Jerusalem being the capital of Israel. Did you get to see any of this video?
I don't recall it.
Okay.
It kind of sounds familiar.
Let me tell you what happened, and you can make whatever comments you want on it. This was at the same time that Ron Paul was essentially ripped off by the Republicans. This was the Democratic National Convention, and I was watching it, and I was just kind of stunned at what I was seeing. They were asking this question, which to me is meaningless. I thought that Jerusalem was the capital of Israel. I didn't even know that it was like Tel Aviv or something. But apparently this is a politically charged issue. And they brought this up for a vote, and it was like a voice vote on the floor. And it's like the yeas, the nays, the yeas, the nays, the yeas, the nays. All right, the person standing at the podium, have determined that the yeas or nays, whoever it was that they wanted to win, have it. And basically that Jerusalem was not going to be declared the capital of Israel by the Democratic Party of the United States or whatever. And I didn't understand what I was watching at all, but what I did know that I saw was clearly political, philandering. This should have absolutely have been a paper ballot or something. If they're going to vote on this crap, at least take a fair vote, and that was not a fair vote.
Why would American political party even be taking a vote on what some other country's capital is, regardless of how legitimate that country is?
That's what I want to know.
Political football of some sort. Israel's a big deal in the United States. People love it.
When you need a convenient distraction because something important might be happening, and we need a distraction. That's the only reason I could see for doing something as ridiculous as, well, we need to determine if we recognize this other nation's capital as the capital. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, it was one of the party platform things that they voted on, and I was just kind of stunned at what I was seeing there. And I figured as a Muslim, you might have some thoughts on that, Free Market Penguin.
Yeah, well, I like some of the stuff coming out from some of these new young people because they're not tied down with the past. But I don't disagree. I don't agree with their economics. So I honestly hope that they start bucking the trend of this Israel thing. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You're free to call in and talk live here on the air. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, wherever you are, you can call in. You don't have to be listening to my voice to do it either. If you're listening to this broadcast recorded on some radio station all across America on one of our nearly 200 radio stations, then just take note. If you've got some pressing issue that you think is important for the world to know, and by God, you're posting something on Facebook, so you probably do, then give us a call. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Got a story here from the New York Times. Says the DEA, that's the Drug Enforcement Agency, secretly collected bulk records of money counter purchases. So this was very recently. Charlie Savage reports the Drug Enforcement Administration secretly collected data in bulk about Americans' purchases of money counting machines. Do you guys know what these are?
Mm-hmm.
The little thing you see in the bank, and it looks like a Rolodex, and
100.
And they also have ones I saw are pretty cool at the grocery store. They had to recount a thing right in front of me.
Yep.
And so she puts all the $1 bills on it, hits a button, puts all the fives, hits a button, it just weighs them.
Huh.
And it's like dead nuts accurate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that. But they probably want information on that too. And the DEA also took steps to hide the effort from defendants and courts before quietly shuttering the program in 2013.
They would never suppress evidence. No. Not the DEA. That's like against the Constitution, I think.
I would remind you, ladies and gentlemen, there are programs within the government right now that they are denying exist, that they are dropping cases in order to not have to present evidence, that they are hiding this information from judges and defendants right now. Information like, we don't listen in on your phone calls. We don't we don't read your texts. Whatever. Like, I don't know what they do and what they don't do, but I know they lie because it says so right here. The New York Times, not exactly a small government anti-state publication, ladies and gentlemen, is saying that, right here, law enforcement agencies obfuscated. They attempted to hide from, us, defendants, courts, and the public here. They're collecting data on people who bought money counting machines, and they shut the program down in 2013. It was amid the uproar of disclosures by the NSA and Snowden and all that stuff.
I can tell you that a friend of mine who went to police academy in Massachusetts, state police in New Braintree, Mass, I believe is where the place is, told me that he literally took a whole class on how to perfect and properly lie to people that you arrest or question or interrogate, and how this is encouraged because it gets a lot of good information when you lie to people that you are interrogating.
Right. They're allowed to lie when interrogating you. You're not allowed to lie when they're interrogating you.
And he brought that up. He's like, well, can I get in trouble for lying? No, you can't. In fact, you are exempt from.
It's a technique.
And any getting in trouble for lying is basically what he was told.
Right. We just talked to your partner, and he spilled the beans on you. So anything you want to tell me before we wrap this operation up?
Yeah. Whenever they tell you that, that's why you should never tell the cops anything.
Well, I think that's the prisoner's dilemma, right? So this is the psychological test out there that basically points out that if two prisoners who've committed a crime together, are caught and they're both interrogated, they're either going to stay silent or they're going to spill the beans, right? And if they both stay silent, they both go free. If they both talk, they both do. They get a sort of reduced sentence. But if one talks and the other one doesn't, the one who didn't talk gets a high sentence, and then vice versa. The likelihood is that in those scenarios, human beings are going to talk. So, I'm not trying to give advice on how to commit crimes, ladies and gentlemen, but I can tell you, people in prison said, commit your crimes alone.
Well, not only that, you don't even have to commit a crime to find yourself in a pickle.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially,
if you do, you likely have a co-defendant if you're just,
police state America, you got the wrong species of salad on you, and your friend told me you were dealing it.
Yeah. And there you go. So it's a lie in order to get some more information. So seeking leads about who might be a drug trafficker. Do you think that a person who buys a bill counter is likely to be a drug trafficker? I mean, I'm just a drug dealer. So I have something. Are they getting a bill counter because they're likely to be one of these things, or are they just running a business?
No, I would think they're a carny vendor, actually.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of cash
because
carnivals.
I had sold actual people who had petting zoos at the carnival hay, and they would literally. I said, "Cash, guys. I don't do checks." I would get shopping bags full of $1 bills, like $3,000 or $1 bills, because they are constantly. They had a petting zoo and a little pony that would ride, and they get like $1, and everything was $1.
Yep.
And they would go to Freiburg Fair for 10 days, collecting $50 every 7 or 8 minutes. The kids can ride ponies or whatever it was, and feed the little goats, and they literally would have like bags stuffed with $1 bills because they ain't going to the bank to deposit it while they're at the fair, and they don't have time for that stuff. And
$1 at this point isn't much. Video games are $1 now.
And that's what you really need to count is $1 bills.
No.
People own car washes,
gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, do they still? Well, how would you know?
I worked at a credit union, and there was one right next door to us, and that was a big thing. They would come in with these mashed up, stinky bills that we would have to straighten out.
How long ago was that?
Well, I was 2008, maybe.
Okay, so not too long ago then. All right, about 10 years. I just was wondering whether ones were still a thing at strip clubs. I haven't been to a strip club in a long time and don't consider a one to be a whole bunch of money, considering that you can't buy a loaf of bread with it. And, you get a video game, but what's that worth?
Nobody goes and asks for a stack of fives to go to the strip club.
Nope.
$2 bills seem like a thing
expensive.
You might try. Maybe you get a little extra attention. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't seem like the way I want to spend my money these days. Seeking leads about who might be a drug trafficker, the DEA started in 2008 to issue blanket administrative subpoenas to vendors to learn who was buying money counters. The subpoenas involved no court oversight and were not pegged to any particular investigation. So this isn't really a subpoena, but all right. The agency collected tens of thousands of records showing the names and addresses of people who bought the devices. The public version of the report, which portrayed the program as legally questionable, blacked out the device whose purchase the DEA had tracked, but on a slip-up, the report contained one uncensored reference to a section about how the DEA policy called for withholding from official cases files, the facts that agents first learned the names of suspects from its database of money counter purchases. So there you go. They caught at least somebody on this. That instruction said that it was intended to protect the program's sources and methods. Criminals would obtain money counters by other means if they knew that the DEA collected this data. Probably true.
You should know everybody collects data. I mean, if you're a drug dealer and if you're doing anything illegal and you're using like credit cards or like any of that stuff to do anything, I mean, everything's traced.
Right. If you're buying certain scales, I imagine they're keeping an eye on that if they can. You don't want to purchase that kind of stuff with a credit card.
Yeah, or online, or on Amazon, or anything, or it's just
right. If you're going to buy a money counter, or anything to do with a business like this, you would want to use cash or cryptocurrency. Try to keep your information on the down low. A preamble said the DEA and the Inspector General worked together on redactions, and press officers for both declined to comment on the inadvertent disclosure. The DEA, which is an arm of the Justice Department, provided a statement responding to the Inspector General's finding, pledging fealty to the rule of law while citing the importance of protecting techniques and procedures that DEA agents rely on to protect our nation. Yes, of course we obey the law, but only when it's convenient for us. 855-450-3733. Should the DEA be collecting this kind of information? Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live. You call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
Bitcoin.com is, it's a major sponsor of Free Talk Live, has been for a very long time. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. So, maybe you want to buy some Bitcoin. Well, you can go over there. You can buy Bitcoin. You can get a Bitcoin wallet in which to contain your Bitcoin. They've got a wallet there. They also have free Bitcoins at free.bitcoin.com. You can spend your Bitcoins at places like saveatpurse.com. I know I'm dropping a lot of stuff. Go to bitcoin.com and they can walk you through all of this. You can get the latest news, engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. You can play games with your Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com. They're it, right? I mean, they've got the name. They're Bitcoin, bitcoin.com. Go to Tom calling in from Detroit. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
I understand what the cryptocurrency is, and I understand the idea of it, but I am a little suspicious of it.
Sure.
And I've got a set of notes here, and I'd like to ask some questions.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, one, how is cryptocurrency any different from fiat currency, other than the fact that the fiat currency is a forced currency?
The fiat currency is what?
A forced. I mean, fiat is not just a printing press making currency, but it is a forced currency. If you don't accept the U.S. dollar when you have a store, it's against the law. So it's a forced currency.
Right.
So how is cryptocurrency any different?
So cryptocurrency, in the sense of, let's just talk about Bitcoin to make this easier. Bitcoin Cash, whatever you prefer to, talk about here. Almost all cryptocurrencies have this particular aspect. They're not only a currency, but they're also a currency transmission system. So, for instance, if you're comparing this to silver, right? Like silver is a currency, could be a currency, but it's not a currency transmission system. There's no way to get silver from – I can't shove it in the little vent ports in my computer and it comes out in North Korea, right? I'd have to mail it and then rely on government mail transmission systems to get it from one location to another. With cryptocurrency, nobody can stand in the way of me sending my value from one location to another. So some of the value of cryptocurrency is – the fact that there's this built-in, immutable, unchangeable, honest transmission system that is relatively cheap compared to things like Western Union and stuff like that.
And it's peer-to-peer,
right.
Where fiat is not peer-to-peer. It's to private. That fiat is property of some private bank.
That's right.
Generally.
So for instance, if you compare it to fiat is called fiat because like a king issues a fiat. That means he gives an order, right? And he says that this is money because it is money. So fiat is fiat because some government said that it was money. Crypto, although it may not be backed by something like gold or silver or something like that, then again, gold and silver is not backed by gold and silver either. It's just gold and silver, right? It's just what it is. Gold or silver is a metal, and that metal has certain properties. Cryptocurrency is software, and that software has certain properties.
Wow, I've given you your opportunity to explain all that, and you've made a lot of claims there.
Okay.
One is that yes, you can transport this cryptocurrency, which is just a make-believe number in space, around the world in a nanosecond.
Yep. Well, close.
It holds no physical value at all, and then you also you related it to gold and silver as if it was the same thing.
Well,
and
gold and silver aren't the same thing as each other, right? I mean, they're different things.
Hold on, 1 second.
Okay.
Let me only finish, Ian. All right. Gold and silver has for thousands of years has its value because it's a physical thing that I can hold in my hand that is rare. Cryptocurrency is just like fiat currency. It doesn't exist. They're just numbers, just as the printing press prints off valueless paper. They're just numbers.
Well, they're scarce, unlike the valueless paper. Well, I don't know valueless. Obviously, the paper has value. I mean, fiat.
Wait, why does it have value? Hold on. Let's discuss this for a second. Why does the paper, our green paper in our pocket, why is everyone convinced that it has value?
Well, that is the definition. Value is everyone convinced, right? Like, so it has value because I can give it to you in exchange for something, and then you can give it to somebody else in exchange for something, and they can give it to somebody else in exchange for something. You may not like why it has value, and I don't like why it has value. I will agree with you on that, but it has value.
Only imagined value.
Fine,
whereas
that's all value
silver,
is. Value is the.
Whereas gold is. Hold on.
Okay.
Whereas gold and silver has value because it is rare. It is physically in my hand.
Yep.
It has existed for thousands of years and has been actual real money for thousands of years.
Well, I don't want to get on the air and say that I don't think that one should have, hold, and use silver and gold in part of their portfolio. Please don't paint me as that guy, because that's not me.
I'm not.
I've bought a boat. A big boat with silver at one point, so and some cash too. But I mean, I used all my silver. The guy would accept silver, and that's great. But I also attempted to pay farmhands for years with mercury dimes. I had lots and lots of mercury dimes, and although it has value, they didn't want it.
I've had the same experience. It's really, really hard to spend silver.
Right. You'd accept it for hay, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
I got a call from the I don't know if it was really true, but I got a call from a guy who said he was from the Secret Service because I advertised in the Want Advertiser years ago selling hay, 25 cents a bale, if paid for in pre-1964 silver coin. And I literally got a phone call from someone claiming to be from the Secret Service, and they were like, "What's up with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take cash, but it's going to be like $5
You understand why? That's really a good point. That's a very good point about what fiat currency is. Fiat currency is not just a printing press printing up paper. It means that you're forced to use it, and you just made a great example of what I'm talking about.
Right.
If you only want to deal in silver and gold, you can't. That's why they contacted you. How dare you only accept silver and gold?
And today what I do with my business is I do a lot of property management work, and snow plowing is one of the big things I do. And I snowplow driveways. It's like $50 a driveway, but if you pay me in cryptocurrency, it's $40. If you pay me in cash, it's $60 is generally what I do. I charge more for cash and less for crypto.
Crypto's liable to appreciate it. Tom,
that's very interesting.
I'm going to hold you over because I don't want you to feel I don't want you to feel like you have gotten short shifted here, and I'm curious.
Okay.
This is a conversation that's important to me too, and I don't think there's winners and losers in this. I think crypto's a step forward in currency, though. 855-4503.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want. Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. That means they grab news stories from all over the internet, put them on one place so that they curate news for you. News that you're interested in. The newest, freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty. They've got science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, the rise of the police state. FreedomsPhoenix.com has it, and their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date. So I get the daily dispatch. I rarely go to FreedomsPhoenix.com itself. I go there to sign up to make sure my subscription's fine, but that's about it. So it's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. But I do get I love their news. I've been getting their email for many years now. FreedomsPhoenix.com. Go subscribe to their daily dispatch. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's go back to Tom calling in from Detroit. Tom's calling about cryptocurrency and sort of, sounds a little skeptical of, cryptocurrency's value in modern society, and sounds like, what we call a gold bug. At least we did back in the day. Tom, I hope you don't take that as insulting.
Oh, no, of course not. But bottom line is silver and gold have for thousands of years been currency.
Yep.
Because they're rare. All right. So again, my issue with this cryptocurrency is, again, these governments around the world want to make a one world currency, yada yada. They want to control everything, and the cryptocurrency, am I right or wrong, is they're numbers. They're a calculation that is figured out by a computer
program.
And yep. Okay, so now I'm holding this number, which when the collapse comes, which is coming, there's no doubt in my mind.
Do you know when it is?
I'm a prepper.
You got an idea?
Go ahead.
You got an idea when you got an idea when that collapse is coming? Because the collapse has been coming a long time.
My whole life I've been being told 6 months.
Guys,
seriously.
I understand all that. I cannot predict it. I'm 58 years old.
I'm so disappointed it hasn't happened yet.
I'm only saying this, Tom, to be 100% clear, is if you're a prepper and you want to be prepared for anything, then you need to be prepared for the digital future where cryptocurrency takes the place of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. Do you want to be prepared for that possibility?
Yeah,
then buy
I can
some.
see it, because the bottom line is the world reserve currency is going to collapse.
At some point it has to.
Right now. Oh, it will. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. As all currencies throughout time, even the Romans, after they started shaving off
Clipping
and
coins,
changing
sure.
their currency from gold and silver.
One of two things is going to happen, Tom, when that occurs, is either somebody's going to trot out a metal-backed currency, and probably it will have cryptocurrency aspects because that's the best way to track your, to make sure that they're not messing with the.
So hold on, Ian, I'd like
Mark.
to touch on that.
Mark.
That's the most scary part of this.
Yep.
Every single cryptocurrency purchase is tracked.
Nah.
Doesn't that scare you a little bit?
Bitcoin is all of its currency, all of its exchanges, transactions are tracked, but they're tracked pseudonymously, right? So if I make a purchase with a series of letters and numbers as an account number, they don't necessarily know who it is. Now, when I swipe my credit card, they know that Mark Edge has purchased, whatever that thing is, probably a Big Mac and fries that he doesn't want his wife to know about. Mark.
Ian,
the
blockchain has to be tracked. It cannot be a blockchain.
Sure, it's tracked. I'm not claiming it's not tracked.
Of course.
I'm just saying that you don't necessarily know who's buying what.
You don't know who holds the wallet.
Right. So when Angie goes and she buys her kale smoothie at the local workout place, and she uses cryptocurrency, yes, the transaction is tracked, but they don't know who she bought it from or who she is. So, I mean,
that is what scares me the most.
Yeah, it's a fair thing to be scared of
right now. Oh, hold on. What you're saying right now is the currency is anonymous, but yet it is tracked.
Yep.
It has to be tracked. If I spend my Bitcoin on something, to be validated so that I'm not cheating,
right? It's tracked.
It has to be tracked.
Right.
It is the most tracked system in the world.
It sure is.
That scares me the most.
So, and what I would say to that is that there will probably sometime in the future come a computing device that is able to put together some percentage of transactions and say this person did this and this person did that and those kind of things. And I agree with you. That's scary. However, people at Monero, Zencash, Zcash, Dash, and a variety of other places have obfuscating technologies that make it darned unlikely or nearly impossible for them to track those transactions. Monero is completely impossible to track, and technologies like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, they can have overlays at some point that make it anonymous. Bitcoin Cash is working hard on that at one point. Mark?
Ian, I have to ask you, if you believe that how is the blockchain unpenetrable? Okay, if you're saying to me that the purchase I make is untraceable, untrackable,
no, I did not.
How does that?
On which?
That's right.
So the blockchain on Bitcoin is certainly trackable, and if you don't keep your information, quiet, then at some point or another, people are going to know that it was you that made that, and maybe they can track some other transactions of yours or whatever. However, when I'm talking about Monero's, and I don't even know if they have a blockchain, they've got some other technology, then that is completely impossible for, at this point, the governments to track.
Well, again, it doesn't make any sense, because if my computer finds a Bitcoin, I am aware of how this works.
Okay, so we're not talking about Monero, right? We're talking about Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm not telling you that Bitcoin's anonymous. So I'm talking about two separate technologies. Bitcoin is what they call pseudonymous, meaning that it's not tied to your name, it's tied to an account. And hopefully that's a one-time use account that's throwaway. But Monero, on the other hand, is anonymous.
It can't be.
Yes, it can.
Because
you don't know anything about the technology.
No, hold on.
It's different than Bitcoin.
Let's get back to the very beginning of finding a Bitcoin. Let's stick there for a second. Okay. My computer system is burning 10,000 watts of fucking.
Whoa!
I'm sorry. My
okay, we dumped
burning.
you.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
No, we just dumped that thing. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, my computer is working away, and it finds a Bitcoin. At that moment, that Bitcoin has to be traced, because how else would if it's not authentic, then someone could what do you call it?
Right. It has
you make
somebody a counterfeiter.
Counterfeit.
Right.
So
this is true.
Has to be traced.
What you're saying is true, Tom, for Bitcoin. It is not true for technologies like Monero and these sorts of things. So if you will do me a favor and research the technology called Monero, and then you can get more information on that. I can't tell you everything about it.
Could you spell that for me?
Monero, Monero. And then there's also other ones. Another one, a good one to look at would be Horizon or Zencash.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And Tom had said something about Bitcoin being in the blockchain being impenetrable.
No, it's immutable.
He said being unable to penetrate, basically. And that is because it is decentralized.
Yeah.
Your gold and silver you're holding is centralized. It's in a vault somewhere.
It's called the currency of kings because if you've got it, the king comes along and takes it from you.
But because that node is spread out through 10,000 some odd, 13,000 nodes around the world, they would have to basically get all the nodes.
They can't hack you.
Right.
That way. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Talk Live. I think we still got room for you here on the lines. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie here.
I want to thank all the amplifiers, but specifically the amplifier number 6 is the code name that, I presume his code name. Maybe his mom named him that. I don't know. Thank you, number 6, for amplifying Free Talk Live. And if you would like to amplify Free Talk Live, you can help us reach more people. It's getting on more radio stations, getting more podcast downloads. These things are just a matter of money. That's it. If you go to amp.freetalklive.com, we can reach more people with the ideas of liberty on this very successful platform for reaching people with the ideas of liberty. You're not trying something new out and hoping this works. This is Free Talk Live. We've been doing it for 20 years now, or darn close to it. So amp.freetalklive.com. Thank you, number 6. Going to the phones. Paul calling in from Indiana. Paul, you're on Free Talk Live.
Jerry Noon, I've been a victim of data mining, and Mark Edge is going to pay.
There you go. That's I'm not going to drop that call, but there you go. That was
the crazy guy.
Yeah, it was our friend. There you go. Got a story here on drunk. The drunk you may be the real you, according to a study. So it says, no more blaming it on the booze. Does alcohol really turn us into different people, or does it merely lower our inhibitions enough to actually be our realest, truest, most honest selves?
I believe so.
I agree.
We all want to think that we're a better person than we actually are, so it's really no surprise how often we jump on the blame it on alcohol train when we do something stupid when we've been drinking. I must say, I have drank and done stupid things. But generally, they're just embarrassing, not I don't know.
Some people, I have an uncle, for example, and the family saying is, Uncle so-and-so is an instant a-hole. Just add alcohol. And it's true. And then I have plenty of friends where you add alcohol, and they're pretty jolly folks. But I do know a handful of people that are pretty nasty when they get alcohol in them.
Yeah, I haven't met. I guess I've met a couple of people like that, and I'm just not going to spend any time around them.
Well, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually the people that are nastiest when they drink are the ones that you are hardest to stop drinking.
That don't get invited to the wedding.
Right.
Because there's going to be booze there, and they're going to get out of hand.
Right.
And they always do every time. So.
And you can't stop them from drinking. It's like
right.
That's it. I had one friend. I had a conversation with him, and I'm like, look, at some point in the relatively near future in your life, if you continue drinking, you're going to do something that you regret. I don't know what it is. Maybe you're going to kill somebody in a car. Maybe you're going to get injured and never be able to walk again driving. Maybe it's you're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time and have something broke over your head. I don't know what it is, or maybe you're going to sleep with the wrong girl and have an itchy crotch when you wake up. I don't know, but you're going to do something because you make a series of bad decisions when you drink. He doesn't drink anymore.
I got to say, I've never, ever met anybody who's turns into an a-hole because they use cannabis.
Well, this is another thing that you'll often, if you ask police officers, who they'd rather deal with, a stoner or a drunk, and you're like, every time they'd rather deal with a stoner because there's not going to be any problems. The drunk, they're going to want to fight you. They're ripping their shirt off, and they're whatever. They're making really poor decisions, and a lot of times the police, you can get hurt doing this stuff. They don't get paid enough for that. Who does?
I have a longtime friend, and he's one of these guys where I could call him right now and say, "Hey, dude, I need your help. Drive to Keene, New Hampshire." And if he was sober, he'd be here, and he'd be awesome.
Yep,
he'd be here as quick as he could get here. And he's really struggled with alcohol. But if he's been drinking, you don't want him anywhere around. He's gotten beat several times and well deserved it.
Yeah,
and goes back to it.
So this is saying that basically if he's an a-hole when he's drinking, he's an a-hole when he's not. What do you think about that?
That's true.
Okay.
Because he's a kind of a-hole to he's not going to be an a-hole to me.
Yeah,
but some kid on the street that was, say, kind of geeky, for example, he would be a total a-hole to him.
All right.
He wouldn't be a total an a-hole to a pretty girl that if he thought he could get in her pants, but as soon as he realized he couldn't,
then he is.
He would. He's also the kind of guy there's a blonde chick on the side of the road, broke down. Oh, she's fat and ugly. He'll just keep driving. But if she's good looking, he'd pull over.
Well,
if that's the kind of guy he is. It's true. He is.
Everyone wants to think their drunk self or their drunk personality is profoundly different than their sober self. But is it really? According to a study by the Association of Psychological Science published in Sage Journals, the only thing we can really blame on the booze is the projectile vomiting everybody saw at last night's party. Contrary to popular belief, you may actually be more you when you're drunk than the other way around. Check out some of these interesting observations from a 2017 study to decide for yourself. 1, you think you're different when you're drunk, but you're not that different. I'm just going to run through the tops here, and I think that just the headlines because I want to get through this as quickly as possible. Here, only got a few minutes left in the segment, but I think it's true. I think it tears off some of the society's veneers, and the polite behavior we might have is torn away, and you're just expressing yourself as you're expressing yourself. You are more sociable, and a lot of people, they need that drink to take the edge off in social situations. Angie, what do you think?
I am a lot more friendly when I drink. Maybe we could test it out. We could all have a drink one night here and see if we become more talkative and more friendly.
Well, I'll tell you this about alcohol and radio. If drunks were half as interesting as they think they are, then bars would have stadium seating and nobody would go to football games or watch television. They just go to the bar to watch drunks. They're not interesting.
I'd have a tough time focusing and probably not often.
You don't drink at all, do you?
Very rarely,
right, like decades, like on the scale of years kind of drinking.
Like literally the only time I probably actually drink is at, Pork Fest.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I might have a glass of wine somewhere here or there, but, if I have more than 3, it's, at a really fun party, at a freedom festival, and usually that's about the only time.
Yeah, but you have to be constructive almost every day. So, I mean, you have to have your wits about you.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, too, is when I go to parties, I'm generally the guy that doesn't drink because I want to be the one to deal with the cops, and I want to be on top of my game. When I'm dealing with the cops.
Yeah. Summed up the study by saying basically you're always that special, unique, wonderful you, no matter how many tequila shots you foolishly ended up taking on your birthday. So, It's I think it's largely true here is that you can get the truth out of somebody to some extent after they've been drinking. I don't think it's a good reason to drink, mind you, but there's headaches involved. I did hear this week from it's the people at My Magic Mud. They have a charcoal based tooth powder that I am very fond of, and they said that apparently charcoal can help with hangovers. Have you guys ever heard this?
I know people who actually take My Magic Mud, put it in capsules, and swallow it. I've been there, watch them capsule it up. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Oh, I'm going to be drinking tonight. I'm going to take a couple of these.
So you take it before you drink?
I don't really know.
Charcoal pills are a thing already, and they're cheap.
Right.
I'm not sure. My Magic Mud is specialized charcoal with bentonite clay in it. So I don't know. It's kind of like it's taken the Cadillac of charcoal.
Right.
I don't know if it's more effective. It's in that case it's coconut shell husks.
We definitely did feed it to a girl at a Freedom Festival went to out west who drank way too much.
Yep, that happens.
And we got her to swallow down some charcoal, some My Magic Mud in capsules. I actually broke probiotics apart that I had and refilled it with My Magic Mud. We're out in the woods, we're camping.
You got to do what you got to do. I mean, so if you have to deal with these things, but hangovers are bad news.
The cruise I went on, I couldn't believe how many people had this. I never heard of a hangover patch. I thought it was like Dramamine patch people had. And, cruise is just
white.
I
had the Dramamine, the motion sickness patches.
Cruise is like pretty much white trash America gathering up on a boat, drinking and partying and smoking cigarettes.
It depends on the cruise line, but these things happen.
The one I went on is what I saw. And the dude's like, no, these guys are like, man, you could just drink and drink and drink and not get a hangover. And I'm like, oh.
Interesting.
Just not interested in doing that with my time.
Never heard of it. Oh, check us out at freetalklive.com. And by the way, subscribe to us at dlive.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.